Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, Special Assistant to the Mayor for Community, Culture, and Belonging. And Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a great place to live, work, and play. So whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as we learn more about our community together. Hey, Appleton Engaged listeners, how are we doing today? It's a fantastic winter day here in Wisconsin. I am very excited about the conversation that we're about to have. This is a resource that I kept hearing about, and I recently got a chance to actually go visit it for myself, and I was in awe, like literally. But once you know who it is, you'll understand the why. This week's guest is Amy Moorefield, the executive director of the Bergstrom-Mahler Museum of Glass. Hey, Amy, how are we doing?
Hi, Timber. I'm doing great.
All right. You ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Okay. Can you please tell us a little something about yourself and your association with Appleton and the surrounding Fox Cities region?
So I guess I would call myself a museum nerd. I've wanted to work in museums since I was 7 years old, and Bergstrom-Mahler Museum of Glass recruited me about 4 years ago from the East Coast, and I fell in love with this community. I remember opening the curtain doors in the hotel and looking out at the Fox River and saying, this is one very special place. And Lake Winnebago has pelicans. How weird is that? And they're beautiful. They're white and pink and orange.
That's true.
Which is bizarre. I was only used to the Florida-looking ones. There is a Christmas bar called Cleo's in Appleton, which all year round. You can't beat that.
Oh, there's lights all the time.
I love it.
Yes.
Fabulous restaurants. Apollon just around the corner from your fine office.
You've had some of that yummy Greek food.
Oh, yeah.
Huh? Mm-hmm.
Amazing museums and resources here in the community. And I really landed sunny side up in a pretty fantastic place. So I'd also like to say weather-wise, I've done about every dumb thing that you can do in winter weather, not being used to being cold this long. And so I'm an endless source of laughter from the staff at the museum.
Ooh, so, okay. So I got questions. So, okay, if you were on the East Coast, wasn't it cold there?
It is, but it doesn't stick around, right? So like here, we might not see the lawn for several months, correct?
Oh, yeah, correct.
Depending on the year.
Right.
It just melts there. It would stick around for a couple days, but then it melts.
Ah.
And like the negative degree temperatures, that's an experience. Like I can feel my lungs, by breathing. This is new.
You never knew they could work quite like that.
No. And I recall it was hilarious. I was talking to my colleague John at the museum, and I was only at the museum for about a couple months. I started in September of 2020. And I was looking outside at the driveway in front of the museum. I'm like, hey, John, what are those orange sticky things that people are putting out around the driveway? And he just kind of looks at me sadly. He says, those are so the plows know not to go over the grass. And I don't think these are tall enough. And I think I just had this look of horror on my face. Like, what? Where have I come?
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, after several years, you know that we do winter seriously.
But, it's a different kind of beauty. It's so beautiful here. Like, I've walked across Green Lake when it's been frozen. I've learned to snowshoe with my husband here. The ice shoves fascinate me. It's an endless source of entertainment for me around here.
Well, you know what? You just said something that makes for a great transition, and that was beauty. Mm-hmm. So can you please tell us about your resource?
My resource? You meaning Bergstrom-Mahler Museum of Glass?
Yes, I do.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay. It is very special. And of course, I'm a little biased, but also hearing from people in the community that Bergstrom-Mahler, so painting a picture for you, you drive up to the museum, and it's a beautiful museum. It was originally a house that was built by two amazing people, Evangeline and John Nelson Bergstrom, in 1929. And then there's several additions to the home now, but you see the Lake Winnebago right behind it. and Riverside Park in front. And it just is like a jewel that's nestled between the two. But when you walk into the museum, you see this amazing glass, whether it's sculptures or paperweights. And the thing I love to say, it's admission free. So bring yourself and your excitement and know that we are admission free for all.
Yeah,
And that's really
I was
important.
going to say, yeah, we're not going to just gloss over that.
Yeah.
The free. There's not always opportunities to do really quality things that have the price tag of free associated with it.
Correct.
But this is one of them.
It's one of them. And the two founders I mentioned, Evangeline and John Nelson Bergstrom, that was their dream, to build a museum and to make it admission free. So it's part of our founding documents. We opened as a museum in 1959 and have been admission free ever since.
Wow. And that's pretty awesome. That also says, I'm going to assume that says a lot about the community, because for it to remain free, I'm assuming there's some community support in place.
We're very fortunate to have amazing friends and supporters, partners, and that have helped uplift this museum. I like to refer to it as a creative village, and volunteers as well. There's legions of people that have built upon the strength of this institution throughout the year. So that's why I say I kind of landed sunny side up. You know, you have, as you put it, a resource like that in the community is and it's showcasing glass, which is a medium that's not necessarily a solid or a liquid, and that you can heat it to 2,000 degrees and you can really watch the magic happen. It's pretty cool.
When I got to visit, I was actually taken aback at how big it is. How big is the entire establishment?
So the museum has 9 galleries. It has a classroom and a glass studio, museum shop. We probably have, I would say, exhibition square footage, about 20,000 square feet, probably about 35,000 square feet of public spaces. Because it was a home, aside from some of the expanded areas that were added on, you know, it feels familiar, that kind of sense of hominess to some of the galleries that make it appear more intimate than it is.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
To me, it definitely had that home feel about it.
Yeah.
Now, I also am curious if you can share with the Appleton Engage listeners, like, when you met me, you threw this number at me about how many glass objects there were on display, and I had to have pause.
I think we were talking in the Millie Fiore Paperweight Gallery, and at that point your eyes are kind of bugging out because we've got a lot of paperweights.
There's a lot of paperweights.
So for just the facts part, we have over 6,000 objects in our collection. Of that, we have 4,290 paperweights alone.
That's wild.
And over 600 of them were given by our founders. Evangeline, particularly, Bergstrom, was a collector of paperweights, but she didn't start collecting until her 60s. And from when she was in her 60s to when she passed away, she accumulated 600 paperweights. She wrote a book that was printed 4 times by Macmillan Press about paperweights. She was on the cover of Time magazine from this community. And she had this vision of wanting a museum for the community. So, you know, we've built on that in terms of the amount of work in the collection, but paperweights we collect, call them little mini magic worlds. In addition to that, we have contemporary glass, we have Germanic glass, Victorian glass, and baskets. Those are our 4 core areas of collecting. And we are very fortunate to receive amazing gifts to our collection and actually just proposed several to the board just this past week.
I think I got an opportunity to see some of the stuff that wasn't, or go into a space where there's some stuff put away, and there was this glass baby.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what is that?
There are some really spectacular contemporary pieces. In fact, we just got a gift of 7 works from a collector in Minnesota who had reached out to other Minnesota museums first and didn't get a response. So he called us as a glass museum, and we immediately went and visited with him. And we picked up 7 amazing works of art, and 2 of them are installations. So when you walk in the museum now and you look up, there's this beautiful kind of cascading installation by a Seattle-based artist named Rachel Royal. Also got our first indigenous culture work into the collection by an artist who makes these beautiful pieces named Preston Singletary. So you never know what treasures that you're going to find. And I think you got to visit the vault, Timber, which is what we refer to, our collection storage.
The vault, yep.
The vault.
Do, now that you say it, I do believe it was called the vault. Okay, but there's more things happening in the museum than just to walk around and look at glass, right? So what else? What else do you do inside of the museum?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, we're always inspired by our collection and about glass, but we have an amazing back lawn where we have festivals. We have a Glass Arts Festival. We have 4 curated nights at the museum called Art After Darks. We just had one back in September called Renaissance Fair, which was inspired by our Germanic collection, for example. So we not only use the inside of our facilities, but also the outside. We have an amazing glass studio and classroom where we teach over 162 classes a year, and as well as significant outreach. We work with Catalpa, we work with Christine Ann Center, Harper House, many schools, for example. So we also have a high school program called the Fox Area High School Exhibition and Glass Experience Days. And we're delighted Jewelers Mutual sponsored that this year. And that allows high schools from all around the area to come and learn about the magic of glass and then spend 2 hours in the studio making artwork. And ultimately, their creations are on view at the museum. So this year, we're working with 21 high schools. And it's just really wonderful to see those pivotal moments when you go down the class studio and see these students kind of really getting it and getting to make work over a torch or fuse pieces or things like that. So,
what do you think is something that a person who's not familiar with the Glass Museum might not understand or misunderstand about it?
Well, one, that we're here, right? So I think the first step is once you get in the door, we've got you. So, but the ability to feel that we're a place for them, you know, which is a big deal, is doing the work, and we're constantly in the community inviting people to come. It's amazing when you get an invitation, how it makes you feel so good, right? And that we find that just being out there and asking and inviting makes a big difference.
That's how I got there.
That's right.
And otherwise, a glass museum, just the term glass museum scares me because Timber's a little clumsy, and therefore.
Well, you didn't break anything when you were there. You did good.
I did not, but I was cautious. But it wasn't necessarily needed just because of the way everything is displayed, and it was really cool, and it was really warm once I got in there, and
good.
Felt like I got my footing under me.
Good. I mean, it's not to say that there isn't always an occasional boo-boo. I mean, but that happens in museums everywhere, right?
Yes.
But we've been called one of the most child-friendly museums in the community. And we like to say we have a preschool program called Growing Up Glassy. So we serve, 2 to 3-year-olds all the way up into people that are 80 or 90 years old, including doing a very important program called Spark with 4 museum partners, and that's working with people that have dementia and Alzheimer's, and their caregivers. So we feel that we can be a place for everyone, and hope that we can.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing that I was like, this is so cool, and that was watching. I don't know what a proper title is, but the young ladies who are blowing glass. I was just like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Thanks for saying that. And we're really proud of that. So you met Taylor, who's our studio manager, and Riley, who's our studio assistant. And a couple years ago, we got a great gift it's a furnace, but it's a mobile furnace. It's actually, the brand is called Mini Dragon. So we actually have a dragon blowing fire in our institution. And we named him Ray after the donor, Raymond Smith, who gave us the initial gift so we could purchase Ray. And Ray, the gift of Ray has continued to go on. We've had other organizations provide tools for Ray, and Neenah's foundry, high school foundry department, actually made these holders to hold like the punties that pick up the glass. So Ray has just been an ongoing gift. And we can blow 15 pounds of glass, and it's usually at 2,000 degrees. in that cauldron. And you should come back and actually make some glass with us. It's fun.
Oh no, I'm all about that life.
Yeah. You feel really good about yourself when you get through it.
Felt good just being in the space watching it happen, because I was like, whoa, that's amazing to watch it actually, how they form these shapes, and then to think that you're near something that's so hot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's awesome.
It is awesome. And Ray gets around. We take him to partners and festivals. We were at the Dragon Boat Festival and other Renaissance fairs, and had him in the backyard and the front yard doing demonstrations. And it's really a wonderful way to, as you just mentioned that you remember, Ray, kind of really making our mission of providing glass arts experiences come to life.
Okay. Well, Amy.
Yeah.
Can you please share a story with the Appleton Engaged listeners that will help them understand the impact of the museum?
Sure. I mean, we talked a little bit about Ray. Ray is a great friend maker for us. But one of the other things we do, and it's been a long tradition at our museum, is the first Saturday every month, we have what's called Art Activity Day. So you can come and make a glass project with your family or your friends for $18. And then we also have free activities that day. And it's a wonderful way to come in and really learn about how to make glass. And it's a very kind of warm and kind of low stress experience, and learn about the museum. And often we have other partners that we work with. Like we've had the Neenah Animal Shelter come and bring like their animals, and our little glass project is always curated around a theme. So this upcoming one on December 7th is called A Stack of Presents. So you can make a really cute little sun catcher to remind yourself of your time. But we discovered a few years ago that there were a lot of the community that we weren't able to serve because there was a fee attached to, glass materials are expensive, so we do need to charge for that. But there was a great community that could not afford to have that really special experience once a month. So I talked to the Community Foundation, and we developed a fund to support that glass art activity. And since, I think it's been 2021, we've given away 450 of those scholarships to the community. So people can come in, and we call them golden tickets because we want people to get this really great coupon. It's called a golden ticket to exchange, to come on in and make an activity with us. And that's really opened up a lot of doors for us. One thing we realized, though, is that we can offer 450 of these golden tickets, but getting them into people's hands is a whole other part of the magic that we're finally figuring out. How to disperse these in the community. But it's been a really rewarding thing that we've been able to do, and that we're just continuing to build that those relationships and partnerships to continue that program.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool, and I love. And we can get upwards like the one that we're going to have, and please do come, Timber, for that. We have baking volunteers at the museum, and they volunteer because they like to bake. So we're going to have a ton of baked goods. We're going to have a big holiday extravaganza open house with free activities, and then the glass art activity as well. But we can get upwards of 800 people that come for those first Saturdays.
Wow.
Yeah, it's busy.
800?
Oh, yeah. Particularly at this time of the year. Usually the November, December are very popular, and then some of them on the summer. But, you can establish and a little girl and her grandmother. She had come for the first time in November, and she had such a good time. Her grandmother said, "Do you want me to sign you up for another one?" And she said to her grandmother, "I want you to sign me up for all of them."
Ooh.
So you can develop a little collection of all the different little glass activities that you can make as part of that art activity day.
That would be cool. And I would be all about that. A nice little collection of themed glass.
Yeah. And I like to say, and I talked to my friend Aaron Shearer at the Payne, who has been part of that institution long enough that, he started the Nutcracker series. So he has, the generation that were children when he started it are now bringing their own children to the Nutcracker. I like to say the same thing with Art Activity Day. It's been established for us for so long that the moms and the dads and the families and the grandmothers and the friends and all the significant others that had started coming and making those art activity days now are bringing their friends and their children to the museum.
It's become a legacy event.
It's becoming a legacy event.
That's amazing, actually.
Thank you.
Are there, well, you just shared this upcoming event.
Yeah.
Are there any others that are upcoming here?
Well,
or is there any events that are what I like to call legacy events, things that happen every year?
Sure. I mean, we do a ton of events every year. A couple that are coming up, we would love to welcome that are mission free. I mentioned our December 7th open house, Art Activity Day. And then on December 19th, we have one of our Art After Darks, which is a free night at the museum. Each one is around a theme. I mentioned we did Renaissance Fair in September. In June, we had a Taylor Swift era. We called it the Swiftie era party.
What?
And we actually had like a scavenger hunt with different elements from Taylor Swift's eras, so people could go around and find them in the artworks in the museum. It was a lot of fun. We had a VIP ticket to that. So the one that's coming up is December 19th, and it's from 5:30 to 8:30, and it's based on the Bridgerton Netflix series, and it's called A Toast of the Season. And so you'll see staff walking around in Regency gear, and everything is very much kind of looking back at that time in the 1800s of what a holiday would look like. So a lot of fun activities. The symphonies are partner for that, so they're going to be bringing quartets around in the gallery. It's going to be very sparkly and beautiful and free night. And we hope people will come. And then I guess one of the big legacy events we have coming up is our Glass Arts Festival, and that's next August. So we had an arts festival that was all media, and because of the pandemic, we weren't able to do it for a couple summers in a row. But it wasn't really tied to our mission. Our mission, we are a glass museum, and our mission is we provide extraordinary glass experiences to spark fun, kindle creativity, and illuminate learning for all. So we wanted to spend the time and remission the festival, and it's now an all-glass festival. So we invite artists from all around the world to come. So last year we had 43 artists. We had glass-blowing demonstrations. We had a kids' tent, food truck rodeo, music. The museum was open with activities and live glass-blowing demonstrations. And it is emission-free. And last year the first year we did it, we had 3,000 people attend. This past August, it was 5,300 people that came.
Wow.
And next year it's going to be on August 9th. And it is just fun. And you get to talk with the artists from California, the Dakotas. We had an artist from Scotland with us to learn about their work and to purchase something and to just talk with people and learn about why they make glass. It's a ton of fun.
You know, now that you said another word, purchase, there is a place inside a museum where you can purchase some items if you're interested.
We have a beautiful museum shop, and Melissa, as our shop manager, does a fabulous job with our volunteers and really looking for those one-of-a-kind, unique glass items. And we have price points from like $1. These little teeny glass animals that I think are like $5. It kind of blows your mind in how they can make a little rooster, a little alligator out of glass that little, upwards of a couple $1,000s. And so there's price points for everyone. We do gifts for organizations and corporations where you can come in and custom create something with Melissa to give as a special gift to a group of people or a retiree or a new employee as well.
You know, I was talking to someone and I was sharing with them about my visit to the museum.
Yeah.
And they said that's their secret space where they go buy gifts when it's the person who's impossible to buy for.
Oh, I love that.
And they were like, yep, that's where I go. And every single time I find the perfect thing for the impossible person.
Hey, I might have to borrow that for a marketing slogan. That is awesome, but that makes us feel really good. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Is there anything the community can do to be helpful?
Wow, that is a loaded question, and I love that you asked that, Timber. There are a lot of ways. One of the things is to just come. We're admission free. Visit. Yeah, that's what we love. We love talking and hearing about what excites you. That's one way. Another is become a member. Membership's a gateway to more access to the museum, so you get discounts on classes in the shop. You get invited to special events and exhibit openings, so that's always, you get on our e-blasts, you get to learn more about what's going on for our events. Volunteers. We love volunteers, and particularly for our Glass Arts Festival. And we treat our volunteers really well. So, like for the Glass Arts Festival, you got a free T-shirt, you got like an art activity day voucher, you get a lot of wonderful things for donating your time. But we couldn't exist without volunteers. So there's opportunities to work in the shop, to work with the curatorial department, to work in the studio, ongoing opportunities and volunteers, and there's board opportunities as well for those that are inclined. And that's a great way to really get to know the team and the staff and be around beautiful glass things. One other way, we are, of course, going through our annual fund drive, as many other organizations are. So if you're considering year-end giving, we would ask that you consider the Bergstrom-Mahler Museum of Glass. We have a $40,000 gift match right now from actually the Mahler grandchildren, are named Bergstrom-Mahler, as well as Roger and Lynn Van Vreede. Been very generous. And so any contribution you make to the museum, you double your impact, of course, with the gift match.
Okay. Well, who can people contact if they wish to, or how can people contact if they wish to become one of these volunteers or get involved or come visit?
Ooh. So, of course, you can find us on Instagram and on Facebook. Our website, bmmglass.com, has a lot of great information about those subjects, timber. Also, you can email answers@bmmglass.com, or you could reach out to the museum and ask for me, and I would love to talk with you.
Amy, is there any additional information that you feel is important to share with the Appleton Engaged listeners that maybe we didn't ask a question about?
Well, one thing is that this museum, so we were founded in 1959. We became a glass museum in 2012. And we're one of the top 5 glass museums in the country. But we're still a hidden gem. So I just ask the community to keep us top of mind. And if you have visitors coming from out of town, or you have family coming into town, please consider visiting, I like to say, your museum. And once we get you in the door, we would love to give you and your family tours of the institution and perhaps make a memory or two for you.
Okay. It's that time of the show, and that means it is shout-out time.
All right.
You got shout-outs?
I do. Well, shout out to you, Timber, for bringing me on. Thank you very much. And talking about my favorite subject, because I am myopic about museums and Bergstrom-Mahler, so thank you for that. I want to thank the museum staff and board and volunteers. It is a very busy time of the year for us. And again, we are an ecosystem where we all need to be working together, and they're amazing people. I feel really lucky to be part of that club. And to our wonderful sponsors and partners and members for sticking with us and supporting this museum, allowing us to serve you and the community are some real big ones for us. So, and I also have to thank, the people that helped me learn my way, I wouldn't call myself new anymore, being here 4 years, but there are a lot of angels out there that really kind of made the stars align for me and my family to be here. And it is a very, very special place to live. So, immensely grateful.
At this time, Amy, we want to say thank you to you. All right, Appleton Engaged listeners, we're going to start wrapping up this episode. So thank you for giving us your minds and ears. Thank you for caring about another amazing resource within our community, helping to make it a better place. This is special, I promise you. If you get an opportunity, if you remember the word free was associated with it, bring your family there and check it out for yourselves. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to stop in myself. All right. You already know us here at Appleton Engage. We are trying to become the #1 podcast in Northeast Wisconsin, and we cannot do that without you. We need your help to be able to do that. So you're saying, how can I help? Well, I got a few ways. If you have any suggestions on how we can change the podcast or make a better format, please let us know. If you would like to be a guest, let us know. If you would like to recommend a guest, let us know. And you can reach out to us at belonging@appletonwi.gov. Once again, that is belonging@appletonwi.gov. Also, we think we have a very special resource here helping to make our community a better place. The more informed we are, the more we connect. And so we want to get more eyes and ears here listening to Appleton Engaged. And for us to do that, we need better analytics. So that means while you're listening to this podcast right now, take a moment and fill out a review. Hit us with 5 stars, or, well, those 2 will do. If you do those 2, that will help raise our analytics, and the better our analytics, the more eyes and ears will learn about this amazing resource we have in the Appleton community known as Appleton Engaged. All right, Appleton Engaged listeners, thank you for spending time with us. And once again, I want to really encourage you to take some time and go check out the Glass Museum. You will be blown away. And once again, that magic word free is associated with it, so there's not a lot of excuses not to go do it. All right, so until next time, stay thoughtful, stay curious, and stay engaged.